A wider selection or bigger savings anywhere. This month, you can lease a 2019 Chevy Equinox LS for 2 years for $139 per month with $995.
That would have not been fun.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, November 13th regular school board meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Southgate's mission statement is Learning for Life. The vision statement is Southgate Community Schools, best choice for students and parents. Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio to approve the agenda.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Green. Any discussion on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. We have an agenda. Okay. Citizens' comments. Is there anybody who would like to speak tonight? Oh, okay. Thank you. Please come on up.
Okay. I sent out emails.
Right up to here, ma'am.
Mike.
Okay. Let me give this. You can pass this down, please. Oh, did you get it? Yeah.
We have it. We have it.
You already have it. Anybody that doesn't have my email?
Nope.
We don't. No.
Could we have your name and address for the record, please?
Yes. My name is Anita Green.
Okay. And your address?
Oh, 1828 Kings Highway, Lincoln Park, Michigan, but I have children in Southgate schools.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm here today to address the fact that I am very upset with the tardiness sweeps at Anderson. I think I don't know if you're familiar with it, but if a student is late to class in the morning or during the day, if they're late to a class, they're made to sit in the cafeteria instead of being allowed to go to their class. I contacted 6 other high schools in this area, and no one prevents their students from attending class. They issue tardies, they issue warnings, they issue detentions, but none of their students is forbidden from attending class. Southgate Anderson High School is the only high school in the area that forbids their students to attend class if they're late. Even if they're standing in the doorway of their class, they're not allowed to go in. I've appealed to principals. I've appealed to superintendents. Nothing is happening. I feel it's detrimental. It could cause their grades to drop drastically. They could be missing a review for a test. They could be missing a test. They could be missing a presentation that's important, and they're not allowed to go in their class and do it. And I think that's very detrimental to them. They need to be encouraged to be problem solvers. If they're running late, I mean, you would never show up at work and your boss would say, you're 3 minutes late. I'm sorry, you'll have to sit in the lobby for an hour. You're expected to go in, get busy, strategically plan what you need to tackle, and get it done. We want to raise responsible adults here in Southgate schools. And this is making them to feel like they're bad boys and girls, and they're incapable of addressing a problem creatively. I was a social worker for the school system for 19 years. One morning I had a girl call me and say, Anita, can you please come and get me? I'm around the corner at the 7-Eleven. My mom had a car accident. Can you please come and get me because I want to come to school? I went to get her, and I'm looking around, and I'm saying, where's the car? She said, it's right there. The mother had driven the car into the 7-Eleven. Now, is that girl expected to come to school if she had gone to Anderson and she just experienced such a horrific experience? She would be late and she wouldn't be allowed to go to class? That's not right. I think it's detrimental to the kids. I think it's not teaching them to be productive. I think what we need to do is if they're repeatedly late, maybe do some community service hours. One school I called said, yes, we do detention, and the kids do a school beautification program. If they're in detention, they clean the school. She said, because we want them here. We want them here, and we want to work with them so that they will do well. So I'm thinking we need to work with students, find out what their issues are, and teach them to be responsible, resourceful, creative adults. And I think this tardiness sweep is heinous. If we're supposed to be educating children, and I was in the education business for 19 years, if we're supposed to be educating them, then we need to let them go to class.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who'd like to speak tonight at public
Will I
comment?
be able to get some kind of response or a decision?
This is public comment, and that's all this is public comment.
So that means nothing will be done with this issue? Is that what you're telling me? I'm not sure.
That means we're not going to address your issue right now.
Okay.
We don't have a function to address your issue right now during this meeting.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to kind of know when would somebody be getting back with me? How long does it take?
Again, this kind of thing, when it comes to public comment, administration is hearing what you're saying, and if administration has an issue for the board to address or deal with, then they will bring it back to us at that point, and that's when you'll see it on an agenda.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Okay, we'll close public comment. And that takes us to F, which is presentations, district assessment results. Dr. Baker-Herring.
All right. So I will be sharing with you 2017-18 district-wide standardized assessment results. You will see some areas of strength and some areas of challenge, and I do believe we've got some strong plans to address those areas of challenge that I'll share at the end. So in your packet, I'll just go through each page, pausing on certain topics that might need a little bit clarification. Feel free to stop me with questions. So the first set of tests that you're going to see is third grade results for math and ELA. The green circles indicate scores that are at or above state average. When we look at the district scores include all K-5 elementaries as well as Beacon students that are in K-5. So third grade Beacon students are there as well. The next slide shows third grade over the last 3 years for math and ELA. Comparison of all buildings in the district. The next you see is fourth grade results. Again, the circles indicate scores that are at or above the state average.
What do the red letters mean?
That's the state.
Numbers.
Yes, the state average for last year. And then a comparison of fourth grade over the last 3 years. Fifth grade scores include math, ELA, and social studies. Our fifth grade students did take the science test. However, it's not included for accountability purposes. They just were field testing those questions. They'll be included in accountability in the next 2 years. And then again, fifth grade over the last 3 years, math, ELA, and social studies. So our sixth grade results at Davidson for math and ELA. And here again, the district results include Davidson Middle School students as well as Beacon students that were in grades 6 through 8. In the sixth grade, again, math and ELA over the past 3 years. Seventh grade students, math and ELA. Last year. And again over the last 3 years. Eighth grade students, just like our fifth grade students, took math, ELA, social studies, and science, except science was not included for accountability purposes. So you see our eighth grade results there. This year, our eighth grade students will be taking math and ELA through the PSAT, 8-9, and then they will still take the M-STEP for science and social studies. Eighth grade over the last 3 years. So the next two charts there are longitudinal M-STEP math scores. So the top box includes the district scores, and the bottom box includes the state scores. So each color represents the same cohort of students over time. And I just feel like if we only compare ourselves to the state, we're not seeing a real complete picture. So this kind of looks at our students comparing them to themselves over each year. So the blue boxes, when the students were in third grade, the M-STEP score for math in 14-15, and then when they were sixth graders last year. And then we did the same thing for the longitudinal ELA scores, the top box including district, bottom including state, and then each color reflects the same cohort of students over time. The next slide is 11th grade M-STEP scores. Our 11th grade students for M-STEP took social studies and science. Again, same scenario. Science was not included for accountability purposes, so social studies are the only scores shown here. And for 11th grade, when we look at the district, it includes students at Anderson, at Beacon, as well as Asher. And so you have social studies over the last 3 years in the next slide. And then you have a complete community M-STEP comparison over other downriver school districts with our district scores for M-STEP grades 3 through 11. Feel free to stop me if you have questions. So the next slide is our PSAT 8-9 scores for our 9th grade students over the last 3 years. So the green circle indicates if the score was at or above the college readiness benchmark. The college readiness benchmark for evidence-based reading and writing is 410 for ninth grade. And then the college readiness benchmark for math for ninth grade is 450. So for the past 3 years, our ninth grade students did meet the college readiness benchmark for evidence-based reading and writing. And what that means, basically, the College Boards define that as if the student hits that benchmark, they have a 75% chance of scoring a C or better in a literature, writing, or history course. And then the same would be the case if they were to hit the benchmark for math. They would have a 75% chance to score a C or better in a first-year college math course. So you have an overall score, a test score for basically ELA, and a test score for math, and then subsets of those scores broken down for reading, writing, analysis and science, social studies and history, and then also math. Our PSAT 10 results, again, the green circles indicate that the overall score is at or above the college readiness benchmark, which again, the 10th grade students did meet that for evidence-based reading and writing. For 10th grade, that benchmark is 430, and the math benchmark is 480. SAT results is the next slide. You'll see the district score, which also includes Asher and Beacon and Anderson, and then the Anderson score, and then the statewide score. Green circles, again, means the score met the college readiness benchmark. For grade 11 SAT results, evidence-based reading and writing, benchmark is 460, and math, it's 510. And then the next slide shows, again, a community comparison of other downriver districts. And then again, to get a more complete picture, we looked at longitudinal data, so we're comparing the different cohorts of students. So when the students were in ninth grade in 2016, their score in the top box, overall score was 803, 410 for evidence-based reading and writing, 393 for math. And then you can see the next year when they were 10th graders, that was their score. And then the overall change in the next column. And then when they were juniors, their SAT scores with the overall change in the furthest column. And then the other cohort on the bottom, the ninth graders that took the PSAT last year, 2 years ago, pardon me, and then last year they were sophomores, with then the change from 1 year to the next for that cohort of students. And then finally, advanced placement results. So of the courses that were offered last year for advanced placement, students who scored a 3 or higher, the percentage is listed there. You can earn a 1 to a 5 on an advanced placement test. Colleges, most colleges will accept scores of 3, 4, or 5 to earn college credit. And then I also included the percentage of the students who were enrolled in the class than those that took the actual test. So of the ones that took the test, that's the percentage that scored a 3 or higher. And then the last is just another comparison of students at Anderson that took advanced placement tests compared to the scores that earned a 3 or higher in Michigan, and then as well as the U.S.
Does that mean that we're doing something right in biology? 62 with
I'm sorry, in what?
biology for 62% that took the test, 62%.
Or under.
I think we're doing great in most advanced placement courses.
History for sure.
Yep.
Psychology.
History, psychology.
Calculus, not so much.
So the last slide kind of just says, okay, so now what? So I mean, not only will we, of course, share them with our leadership teams, our school improvement teams, department chairs, and have them, build their school improvement plans based on their data analysis. But also, I included at the back of the slide presentation kind of my big curricular goals that I think many of them will have a positive impact on the student achievement as well. A couple that I'll just kind of highlight. I think it's going to be a big deal when we are utilizing our NWEA MAP growth results to the fullest. We'll have some more actionable data that we aren't waiting for MSTEP results and PSAT and SAT results that usually come the following year. So I think that will provide us information that we can really make some adjustments to instruction right away. And then we began our work last week on prioritizing, identifying priority standards. So really looking at having discussions about teachers who feel very frantically covering all of the different standards that we have and really focusing in and honing in on those really essential concepts so that maybe we're reducing some of the gaps in the learning that we know that our students have. What questions do you have for me on this assessment data?
Any questions? Not seeing any.
Okay, I do have some other exciting information that I wanted to share with you, kind of as sidebar, but while I'm here, I thought I would share it. So currently, we have our 23A dropout recovery program that we are basically paying Graduation Alliance to work with our students, and over the next couple of months, we're going to transition those students to Atlas so that we will no longer have to basically pay Graduation Alliance to support our students, but we'll be actually able to keep our money in Southgate, and we'll do that through our Atlas online learning with our OdysseyWare platform. So I just wanted to share that with you. Pretty exciting.
Nice.
I do have a comment.
Dr. Pomponius.
I did notice that with Davidson and their math scores, they have improved steadily. So are the teachers working on that specifically over or more so than other? I'm not sure, but it just seems like there's a lot more of a difference in increase.
For sure, 7th grade made a huge jump from 6th to 7th grade based on that longitudinal data. There was an increase from 5th to 6th as well. 8th grade, not so much. We're working on that. I wouldn't say that they're focusing on it more than anything else, but they're really honing in on consistency across the department. They've worked a lot with high school. Again, we're working on identifying our priority standards, so K-12 will have a more, alignment vertically and horizontally.
Looks good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, it takes us on to item number G, which is the consent agenda, which consists of minutes from October 23rd, 2018 regular board meeting, HR update, disbursements for October 2018. I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Koopser. Is there
Yep.
Okay, any discussion on the consent? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Okay. And on to the first action item, which is lease agreement with the City of Southgate.
You're being asked to approve the property lease with the City of Southgate. This lease would be for 30 years for $1 per year. The city will be using this property for a dog park. This idea was originally presented to the Board of Education on May 22nd, 2018 by Dustin Lent. Dustin is here and can answer any other concerns or questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
I have a quick question on this property lease. This was presented by was this drafted by the city or yeah, and when this has already been seen, has our legal counsel already taken a look at this specific contract?
So Mr. Craig and I looked at the lease, and because of its simplicity in two
Yeah, it's pretty
pages, we
straightforward.
actually did not send it to legal
Okay.
counsel.
Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. I looked it over myself. I do notice, the one question I would have had is about the hold harmless, and I understand there's a provision there for a hold harmless agreement, so that was the main thing when you're talking about a dog park on this property. So I was just curious if that was something that we vetted out. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I have one for Justin. Just, when do we think that construction might start?
So we're looking at doing a revitalization for the entire Kiwanis Park. Looking at some of the groundwork, some of the drainage will actually take place this winter. We have some trees that are in Kiwanis Park that are dead that we're going to have to take down as well. So we're going to wait until the ground gets hard enough from the winter to be able to start work. So you're going to see some of the work start taking place this winter, most of the work being taken place in the spring, hopefully with a summer grand opening. And we would love to invite each and every one of you to come as well.
Very good.
One last question. This particular property, there's a cost savings to the district as far as maintenance on that section of property as well.
So we don't mow the whole property currently, but we do mow a big portion of it there off the parking lot at Asher. And what the city will be taking over will be maintained by the city.
Okay, fantastic. Yep. Mr. President, if there are no further questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion approved by Mr. Estheimer and supported by Dr. Pomponio.
My motion is to approve the property lease with the City of Southgate for 30 years for land behind Asher of approximately 7 acres.
Okay.
And I support.
And that's what you're supporting, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Any discussion on the item?
I have a comment.
Dr. Pomponio.
I just want to say that with the Park and Recreation Department, they did their due diligence with all the parks in the city and with their plan for parks. They had a lot of community input and concerns from the public, so all of this was discussed, and the community supported us with the recreation millage. So this is something that was brought to the community, and the community wholeheartedly supports.
I agree. This takes a unusable piece of property and gives it some value. So I really appreciate that. And, appreciate the city's efforts in working with this. So, all right.
Thank you.
Seeing nothing else, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. All right, takes us to action item number 2, which is substitute teacher sub-wage increase.
You're being asked to approve a change in the rate of substitute teacher pay for daily substitute teaching assignments to a single daily rate of $95 for both certified and non-certified substitute teachers.
Just for clarification, what are we at right now?
Right now it's I think it's 70. Let me get my numbers here.
75.
We're starting for non-certified. Our rate is 75. For certified, our rate is 80. We have 2 different rates.
Okay.
I've included in your packets there. I didn't get this sheet right here in time to include in your packets, but it's there with you. This is from EduStaff giving the sub rates in the surrounding areas. And I did include in your packets the Metro Bureau survey of sub rates from last school year.
Any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring the discussion up here and entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the $95 per day rate of pay for daily substitute teachers. This excludes premier substitutes and long-term substitutes. No change at this time for their rate of pay.
I'll support.
Okay, motion by Mr. Green, supported by Mr. Estheimer. Any discussion on the item?
I just wanted to make a comment.
Dr. Pomponio.
That the $75, and I know that you gave us a list and everything, but that's a lower end of the scale, and most of the districts are at the $90 level.
Yeah, I think this is something we got to do to be able to compete, and it is competition for subs right now, so I'll be supporting the item. All right, any other comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. And we're on to the third item on our agenda. Get this straight. Wayne Risa contract for payroll services.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
No.
We gotta get something from
All right.
staff.
Okay, I'll let you.
We'll let staff explain it.
Wayne Risa provides contracted services for select business office functions. With the retirement of one of the business office personnel on December 31st, 2018, and the realignment of positions and duties for maximum efficiency, we're able to contract with Wayne Risa for the management of our payroll processes. Wayne Risa has had successful experience with providing payroll services to districts our size. This change in staffing would result in annual savings in the general fund of $33,000. The master service agreement that we're asking you to approve is we attached in your board packet.
Any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, it is pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the Wayne Risa Master Service Agreement for Payroll Services effective January 1st, 2019, for an initial term of 18 months.
Okay, I have a motion by Dr. Pomponio. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mr. Green. Any discussion on the item? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Okay. Let's get our action agenda. Do we have any employee representatives who would like to speak tonight? Okay, nobody's jumping up, so we'll move on to information and announcements. Mr. Green was faster, I'm sorry.
Yeah, quick draw. Bill Gray, thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to wish everybody, staff, the community, students, happy Thanksgiving next week. We will not be meeting again before then. At Grogan, there is their annual turkey trot on Wednesday, which not sure what that means all the time, but I always know that I'm there, and I'm always doing something, and it's usually outside, and it's usually really cold, and I'm usually working, which I probably need to do more of. In all honesty, they really are doing that, but I really will like to wish everybody a happy holiday, safe holiday, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Dr. Pomponio.
Thank you. As the chairman of the anti-bullying committee, we've put the emphasis on zero tolerance for bullying behavior with students and adults throughout the district and in the community. So with the anti-bullying, we have wanted to start a PTO at the middle school, which is a very important age during the middle school years. And we did. We have a group of parents who are terrific. They're active, and they're wanting to help out the teachers and administrators in the school all together. So with that, the president of the PTO reached out to, we discussed having a project for inspirational messages. So we are going to roll out a project where we're going to have the bathroom stalls painted and with inspirational messages throughout the building. So with that, we have a representative from Mr. Tittle from Tittle Construction that has donated their paint for the inspirational messages, and we're currently talking to Lowe's to have them do the paint for the stalls themselves. So that's something I think is important for students to see and feel that the school cares, the district cares, and that, to see something positive will reinforce their better behavior. So that's what we're doing at Davidson.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Mr. Estheimer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to thank everybody out in our community who came out and voted on Election Day. Congratulations to Mr. Freitas for being elected into that seat, and also to Mr. Rick Lamas. Welcome to the board. We'll be seeing him in the, January meeting, right?
January.
And also thinking a lot over the weekend about our veterans. Wanted to salute all our fellow veterans that are both teachers as well as our constituency. And lastly, just a happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and have a safe holiday.
Thank you. Ms. Pastor.
Thank you. So after the last board meeting, when you approved the bleachers, the next day they started demolition, and I probably have not witnessed the bleachers pulled out for 10 years, and I just want to tell you that they looked scary, and I am so glad that you decided to approve those, because they really did look rickety. We are starting a Twitter feed, #ChooseSCSD. I will be advertising that, so it's Choose Southgate Community School District abbreviated, and my plan is to announce any inclement weather days there first to hopefully get some more people following the Twitter feed. I originally tried to connect my Facebook to Twitter and found out that the words were going but not the pictures, and of course a parent texted me and told me that, so we're working on it, but Dr. Baker Herring's really encouraging us to do more social media. I'm just got good at Facebook, but I'm gonna figure out Twitter too. So.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.